I'm Ted Verdery. I'm honoring my father, Commander Eugene Francis Verdery III. Served in the U.S. Navy from 1940 to 1969. He graduated from Brown University in 1940 and became a Naval Aviation cadet. And following that, he was an instructor for a year or so, and then became a fighter pilot and flew in Korea in World War II. His most significant combat was in Korea, where he flew the F-4U Corsair off a carrier by the name of USS Philippine Sea, CV-47. And during that conflict, he deployed 3 different times on that ship. And they made a movie about some of the missions that he flew on that deployment during the war, called The Bridges of Tokari. And he was flying the Corsair. It was depicted in the movie as a jet fighter, but it was actually the propeller planes that flew those missions. And so that was his main combat experience. And following Korea, he continued flying and was qualified in 23 different airplanes, including the Cougar, which was the jet he qualified in when he was in mid-career. And he continued his career as a commanding officer of several locations. He served on several ships, the Forrestal, the Siboney. He was the commanding officer of a Kingfisher squadron during World War II and Phasron 9 ashore. His final active duty assignment was as commanding officer of NAS Pensacola. He always said that he enjoyed the Navy so much he'd have done it for free, and my mom thought he did do it for free. So he had a full career and enjoyed every minute of it.
What's your fondest memory of your father?
He would always talk about his experience in the Navy with his shipmates and roommates on a carrier, and would talk about how they would joke with each other and play cards and enjoy their time together. But it was dead serious business in most of those deployments. So he had a lot of war stories that were. My fondest memory was of his sending me notes on his letters home to my mother, and he would always include a cartoon for my brother and I, depicting what he was doing or something he thought would entertain us. And so he was a great dad, and he was a great naval officer. And I followed in his footsteps myself. Went to the Naval Academy and served in the Navy myself. So I think my grandkids should remember my father as a dedicated professional who enjoyed the Navy. He came from money. He grew up with money, and his father never worked a day in his life. And so he chose a different path because he felt it was his obligation to serve, and he enjoyed it. And of course, being in the Navy back in his day was quite an honor. And I think he would be remembered for being a very jovial and personable, polite person. His mom made sure he was very well-mannered, and he was an Ivy League educated, could have worked on Wall Street, and he chose to be in the Navy. So I think that's a pretty stellar record in my view. Teamwork, camaraderie, and just being dedicated to a mission and looking after his people. He was very fond of the people he worked with in every capacity he had, but primarily in the Navy, and he made friends for life. He kept up with those people for his whole career, and as far as I know, he still would be talking about them today if he were here with us. I'd say if you have the opportunity to serve, you really should, because it'll train you to be somebody that you never thought you could be. It'll test your limits, create opportunities for you to serve in leadership positions, test your mettle, so to speak, so you can be confident in the future that there's not much you can't handle. Once you've been in combat or been in a difficult situation, you could learn some of the traits about yourself that would be useful in civilian life.